And good afternoon, everyone. This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor. My name is Jim, and this is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. This is a directed network, and I am net control. If at any time during this net, should an emergency arise, please notify net control, and we will stand by and allow those in need to access this frequency. Is there any priority or emergency traffic at this time? And hearing nothing, we will continue. This net is all about ham radio. If you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. We are recording now live till 5, and then we'll post it up on YouTube so you can come by later and do a call letter search for KC9VKV. That's Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, and that will take you to our Qso-Vlog page, where we're now featuring about 1,100 Qso-Vlog Airchecks. Also this afternoon, we're running 4 Internet SDR receivers, monitoring Rochester, New York, Milford, Pennsylvania, Atlanta, Georgia, and Arlington, Virginia, trying to get a better copy on our 100-watt friends. Now, the audio from these 4 SDR receivers comes up on a 6-position rotary selector. Also on this selector is our local receiver audio. And today our local receiver is running 2 large 10-foot vertical magnetic loop antennas, one aimed north and south, and the other is east and west. The east and west can be rotated, and they're selected by a 3-position rotary selector. Position 3 of this selector is a co-phase option that many times is 3 to 4 dB hotter than magloop 1 or 2 by themselves. We do use a lot of rotary selectors in our shack, mainly because there's nothing faster than a rotary switch for comparing multiple signals. Also today we'll be running our input source indicator, so when we switch from an Internet SDR receiver to our local 990 receiver, you'll be able to hear the switch and see the switch. You'll have to check it out on our YouTube Qso-Vlog video. Well, those are our working conditions. How about yours? This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. And now, let's check in and see if Charlie K1GZL is on frequency to bring us up to date on the latest 40-meter band propagation. Charlie's QTH is up in northern New Hampshire, near the Canadian border. Charlie, got a copy?
Yes, Jim, I do. We have a lot of static today, and it's just starting to rain. Just starting to rain at about 56 degrees. Hope you copy. K1GZL.
Roger, Charlie, have an excellent copy on you, sir, at Milford, PA. Looks to be about 15 over. Roger, Roger.
15 over. Roger, Roger.
Okay, right, you're about 10 over direct. 10 dB over direct. And very, very fine. And we are going into a rainy period. We've had an awful lot of wind up here over the last few days. Day before yesterday, you couldn't even stand up outside hardly. Terrific wind. In fact, it was something else. This morning, 40 meters was good, but the static level was horrible. But I have a little bit of VK2SR near the capital of Australia at Canberra, and he is, I think.
We're just about to go and do something else. I heard you there, and thought I'd say a quick hello. You did say last night that he wouldn't be up tonight there, so and hoping that you'll be there in 48 hours, buddy. So all good. I won't hold you up, but absolutely smashing the doors down here. K1GZL, VK2, Sugar Radio.
Okay, I know there was a lot of static, but that was down near the capital of Australia, Jim. Go ahead.
Roger, Roger. Well, fine contact as always, Charlie. I think you have the path to Australia nailed pretty well open, Roger.
Open, Roger.
Yeah, right. And I also talked to Mike, KX4WC Aeronautical Mobile, and I have a little bit of him as he passed near Des Moines in central Iowa, and that was yesterday heading east toward Philadelphia from Sacramento, and here he is, I hope.
Tell you, because we're not up
right now.
Okay, 4 West Charlie.
Wait a minute.
4 West Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie, we're at 37 right now with 510 knots right over north of Des Moines. And we are, again, 370.
Okay, I know there was a lot of static on there. He was at 37,000 feet. The temperature outside was minus 60 Celsius, or 80 degrees or 85 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit. Go ahead.
Well, I don't see how anything can work at minus 85 degrees. I'd have to, I don't know. I don't know if I would trust equipment to operate at minus 85 degrees, Roger.
85 degrees, Roger.
Yeah, that, well, it's a drop in the bucket compared to how fast the radio wave can go around the Earth in an eighth of a second. I won't be able to stay long on this one. I do have company here, so I'll sign with you, and I'll catch you hopefully next week. Catch you next week there, Jim. Mike. Yeah. Mike, good heavens, no, I'm getting all mixed up on my my names here. Yeah, KC9VKV. Yeah, Jim. Yeah, what's the matter with me? Boy, my brain is out in the yard. K1G, always a pleasure.
Roger, Charlie. Well, it's that cold weather, you know. You got to get some temperature going in there in the shack and get that brain unfrozen. I forget how much you said the snow inches were, but something. How much in excess of 200 inches?
In excess of 200 inches?
No, yeah. Our total for the whole winter is 238. 238 inches. 238 inches for this season. Last year was the maximum, 272, but the average for a 22-year period, is now 196 inches a year. 196, Jim.
Oh, roger that. Boy, that's a bunch of snow for sure. Well, Charlie, let me say threes to you, sir. Thanks for dropping by. And as always, on our Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network, we depend on you to keep us updated on what 40 meters is doing and the capabilities. Australia is a prime jump there, and that aeronautical mobile is a feather in the cap too. So we appreciate so much you sharing those activities with us. You have a great afternoon and a beautiful weekend, Charlie. Threes to you, and we'll see you next Friday, if at all possible. This is KC9VKV, and my name is Jim. I'm better known in some circles as Dr. VKV, and we are recording now live till 5, so if you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. We'll post this recording up on YouTube in the next couple of days, so when you go to YouTube, just do a call letter search for KC9VKV. That's Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, and that will take you to our Qso-Vlog page, and on that page you'll be looking for one Qso-Vlog entitled My Group Aircheck 5:15:20. My Group Aircheck 5:15:20. This is KC9VKV listening.
VKV listening.
United.
There was somebody in there, United? Was there a station with a call sign ending in United?
Call sign ending in United.
Jim, Kilowatt Victor 3 United, over.
Okay, come back slowly, phonetically with the call sign again, please.
Slowly, phonetically with the call sign again, please.
Sure, Kilowatt Victoria 3 United, AD 3, over.
Roger, and what's the name there, please?
Roger, and what's the name there, please?
Jim, good afternoon. The name is Jeff, Japan Echo, Fox. And we've worked a couple times, and I'm just trying.
Roger, Jeff. I was just looking around trying to see if I could get a better connection. You're about 3 dB above my noise level on my local antenna, so I was checking out some of the internet SDRs. Come back and tell me a little bit about your antenna system.
Yeah, okay, Jim, very good. Yeah, we're using just a inverted V antenna at about 50 feet, and the rig is a Flex 6400, and I'm using a radio support headset, and I have pretty well dialed in, but wanted to get your thoughts as I finalize it. Over.
Roger, Roger. Now, what radio are you running, sir?
I'm running the Flex 6400.
Roger that, Roger that. Well, we do suggest, for the beginning to get your compressor in line and at a 3. Put your compressor in line and at a 3 level, Roger.
Yep, QSL, I should be there. That was one that's where I should be at this point. Over.
Roger, Roger. I am copying you on the Georgia SDR, and it looks like you're doing about 10 to 12 over on that SDR. Now, what I would suggest, ultimately, I think you might need a windscreen for that microphone. Put that down on your list of things to do. Get you a windscreen for that. Which mic is that you're using, sir?
Yeah, I'm using the Radio Sport, the 10th anniversary headset, and I've got the compression just about. I've got it at DX, so that's right about halfway, and I'm using the Radio Sport 10th anniversary headset. Over.
Roger that. Now that does have a foam windscreen on it already, Roger.
QSL, it does. And I just moved the compressor to normal. Somebody jumped in there. Over.
Okay, yeah, we're only looking for that compressor to function at about a third of its capabilities. So we just want that compressor at a 3 out of 10, a 30 out of 100, or just a third of its capabilities, Roger.
Yeah, okay, QSL. All right, very good, yeah. Right now it's at the lowest setting, peaking at about halfway on the meter. Over.
Right, that might be a little much. Like I said, we're just looking for about a third of its capabilities. You don't have an input control for your compressor?
He's not familiar with the Flex radio. He's going to be able to help. No, that's just the lowest setting I can go with the compressor, Jim. Over.
Oh, Roger. Okay. Now go to your ALC with a mic gain in hand and adjust your ALC for mid-scale to 2/3 on your ALC meter, Roger.
Okay, very good. Right there is about mid-scale, and bump it up about 2/3 over. There is no ALC meter.
Roger, Roger. Jeff, so now talk to me a little bit again about your antenna system, and let me hear you for about 10 seconds.
Yeah, okay, very good. Yeah, and I'm working off I'm looking at the level meter at about 2/3, compression just below half, and the antenna system inverted V. Over.
Roger, Jeff. Well, what we're trying to do is get you to about a 3 dB dynamic range, which you are at now. So with a 3 dB dynamic range, your average percent of peak modulation is between 80 and 85%. So that's a very nice fat signal. And like I say, on that boom mic, I would extend it as far in front of you as I could, and then make an abrupt 90-degree turn. You'd want to get that boom mic out in front of you as far as you can, and then take that 90-degree turn, Roger.
Yeah, okay, very good. Yeah, I moved it out a little further. And on the monitor too, I did notice pops in the audio. On the windscreen, might be too close. Over.
Roger. And then you might double check your ALC after having moved that mic maybe a little bit further away, your ALC level might be just a little low, so you might want to touch that up a tad, Roger.
Up a tad, Roger.
He doesn't know. Yeah, turn the gate. I'll get up just a bit over. He doesn't know that a
somebody seems to be on the channel, sir. This is an engaged channel, and it is a control net, so I'm not exactly sure what the problem is there, but if you would stand by, this is an active frequency. Jeff, come back and let me hear that mic a little bit more.
Let me hear that mic a little bit more. And then listen to it on the YouTube video, over.
Roger. I think you're there. I think you got it. I wish I had a better copy on you. You're only about 3 dB over the Georgia SDR, but that's the best choice I have at the moment. So anyway, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, that'll take you to our Qso-Vlog net, our page, and on that page you'll be looking for an entity called My Group Aircheck 51520. My Group Aircheck 51520, Roger.
Aircheck 51520, Roger.
Yeah, I've listened to you before, or listened to the previous Qso, so very much appreciate it. And thanks so much for the report. And I've actually thought about putting another windscreen over the existing windscreen. I don't know if that would make a difference. I do have to keep it a fair distance away from my mouth here with the boom. So, okay, Kim, thanks so much. I'll turn it back to you, and thanks for all you do. KC9VKV from TV3, over.
Roger, Jeff. And what's your location, sir?
Roger, Jeff. And what's your location, sir?
Yeah, I'm in central Pennsylvania, eastern central Pennsylvania, over.
Roger, Jeff. Thanks for checking in, sir. Have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. This is KC9VKV in the Qso-Vlog network for Friday afternoon. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
A radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Foxtrot Oscar Station. Foxtrot Oscar Station. Come back slowly, phonetically with your call sign, please.
Slowly, phonetically with your call sign, please.
Kilo, November 4, Delta, Foxtrot, Oscar.
Roger. And what's your name there, sir?
Roger, and what's your name there, sir?
Hi, my name is Randall, and I'm transmitting to you from near Richmond, Virginia, over.
Roger. Did we speak last Friday?
We speak last Friday?
No, we didn't. I was at the work last Friday, but I've monitored this frequency on several Fridays, and the first time I was able to punch through, over.
Roger. We did have a Randall last Friday, and I thought that might be you. Well, what radio are you running, sir?
What radio are you running, sir?
I'm running Yates STDX 3000. It's new to me. I've had it just for a couple plus weeks, and just getting to know it. I've been a general for years, and really a couple of there before this. I was using a little homemade 5-watt QRT rig, over.
Roger that. Well, it's sounding pretty good. Like I said, I wish I had a better copy. I'm copying again through the Georgia SDR. You're about 3 dB over their noise level, and I really would like a better, heftier signal, if at all possible, to make an evaluation of your audio. It is right towards my noise level, Roger.
Towards my noise level, Roger.
Roger that. I have an inverted C dipole. It's an off-center fed dipole that I built myself up about 42 feet in north-south direction, and I'm running my Yaesu at 100 watts now with the handheld mic that came with the radio. Over.
Roger, Roger. Well, you know how to operate that hand mic, you know, just pull it to the side of your lips and talk across it. That's the best way to deal with those hand mics. Minimizes any kind of, mouth noises that you might incur. But like I say, just pull it to the side of your mouth and talk across it, Roger.
And talk across it, Roger.
Roger that. I guess it was about a month ago I heard your broadcast talking with other folks, and I've been trying to do that since. I've gotten fairly good audio reports from most folks that I speak with. Over.
Roger, looks pretty good. Let's just check out what you have going on there. We do suggest that you run your compressor in line at about a 3. In line on that compressor at about a 3.
Line on that compressor at about a 3.
Roger that. I'm not sure that this radio has a compressor. I'm at the TX Audio Group menu settings in my manual, and I see EQ frequencies, EQ levels, and EQ bandwidth for low, mid, and high. Over.
Roger. Well, if you're talking about the bandpass of that radio, I suggest that you run that radio at 100 to 2900. If you have a selectable bandpass, I would run that radio at 100 to 2900, Roger.
100 to 2900, Roger.
Roger that. I'm making notes of that. I think I heard your name, Jim. Is it okay if I call you Jim?
Roger that, sir. And after you get that compressor, if you do have a compressor, get it in line, get it at a 3, then go to your ALC with mic gain in hand and adjust your ALC for mid-scale to 2/3 reading on your ALC. Roger?
On your ALC, Roger.
Roger that. I did do that exercise a few weeks ago. I think I have that set pretty closely. How does it sound now? Are you getting any better copy on me? Over?
A little bit better. It looks like about 6 dB over the Georgia SDR level, but and your bandpass, well, I'm assuming that you are in the 100 to 2900 mode. It looks to be that you have about a 3 dB dynamic range, which is just perfect, which means that you're running about 80 to 85% average peak modulation. Roger.
Average peak modulation. Roger.
Roger that. Yes. Do you have enough signal from me to make any more evaluation of this, Jim? I haven't touched anything since we began. Over.
Roger. Sounds pretty good, but like I said, I would double check that compressor to see if you have one, and as long as you're going to be looking in the book, make yourself a little cheat sheet about how to get to things, so you don't have to go through the book again. You just make notes of where your ALC meter capabilities are, your compressor, and your equalization. Those places are, you need to know where those are, and if you have them, Roger.
And if you have them, Roger.
Roger that. Yes, I definitely have the equalization, and I did actually make some notes of the settings in the menu. They're all grouped together in a range of menus. I'm definitely familiar with where my mic gain is on this radio, and as I said, I haven't changed it from when I tried to set it before. I had a friend that I spoke with and tweaked the mic gain until he thought I was sounding very good. Over.
Roger. Well, you do sound very good. I would just double check on that compressor, but the rest of the EQ sounds good. Your level going into the ALC meter looks fine. Your dynamic range is just exactly where you want it. So I'd say get the Gorilla Tape and taper down.
Get the Gorilla Tape and taper down.
Roger that. I will definitely do that. I am looking into, I guess, a windscreen for this mic, or are they something that's pretty easy to find? I wasn't able to find one looking on Amazon. Do you have any recommendations over?
Go down to your local music store and see what they have. Foam windscreens, they're usually about like $3 or $4 a piece.
Roger that. I will definitely do that. So I do really appreciate you taking the time to listen to me. I know there's probably a ton of other folks that would like to get your good help. Over.
Roger. Last transmission, you were well into the clear on that Georgia SDR, so you were like about maybe 8 over, so you have a good audio recording. So if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to our Qso-Vlog page, and on that page, again, you'll be looking for My Group Aircheck 5/15/20, today's date. My Group Aircheck 5/15/20, and it'll take us probably a couple of days to get it up. We might get it there sooner, but at least we want to say that we'll have it there by 48 hours.
Roger that. I do appreciate your help so much, so I will say 73 to you and goodbye. All the best. KC9VKV. This is KN4GFO. 73.
Roger, Randall. 3's that way, sir. Have yourself a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. This is KC9VKV and the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. There's a Delta Bravo station out there. Come back slowly, phonetically with a call sign.
Kilo Oscar 4, Charlie Delta Bravo.
Okay, one more time, please. I missed the word after 4. I missed the letter after 4.
Kilo Oscar 4, Charlie Delta Bravo.
Now somebody wants to send CW. This is an active frequency. Please do not deliberately interfere with a frequency that's in use. This is KC9VKV, and the Charlie Delta Bravo station. What is the name there?
My name is Kelvin, QSL.
Sir, I've only got about 2 dB over my noise level. Try one more time.
Kelvin, Kilo Echo Lima Victor India November.
Roger. Kevin, is that correct?
QSL.
Roger, Kevin, and whereabouts are you, sir?
Just northwest of Atlanta, Georgia.
I should try my Georgia SDR. Let's see what happens there. Come back and tell me just a little bit about your antenna system for about 10 seconds or so.
Part of it is running through trees, but it's not the best thing to do with the
Okay, Kevin, let me see if we can get your audio up just a little bit. What radio are you running, sir?
This is a YAGI'S DX1200.
A DX1200, Roger?
Roger. And I already have my compressor at 30%.
Okay, I understand you do have your compressor already on at 30%, Roger?
Affirmative.
All right, little deliberate interference. We have a QRMer with us, somebody that just lacks the ability to speak, but just can't stand somebody else communicating. They have to try to exert their influence. But anyway, Kevin, I would suggest that you take a look at your ALC meter and see if you're in the neighborhood of mid-scale to 2/3, Roger.
Mid-scale to 2/3, Roger.
Yes, sir. It's at about 75%.
All right. So tell me about something that you like the best about your radio. Give me about 10 seconds so I can hear you.
About 10 seconds so I can hear you.
Well, after going through this hangar and picking out what I need and things like that, I like the filters, I guess. After trying to figure out how to use them, I came around and been able to pick out a lot of the signals for the filters.
Roger, Kevin. I would say, do you know where your equalization is? Are you familiar with your radio and know where your EQ is?
Your radio and know where your EQ is?
I think I may have lost you there, Kevin. Do you still have a copy?
Lost you there, Kevin. Do you still have a copy?
Yes, I have a copy, and I do know where my EQ settings are.
All right. Let's go to your EQ, and I want you to tell me what kind of EQ you have and what the settings are on your EQ.
On your EQ.
The low end EQ is set at 200 with a level of 5. The mid is at a frequency of 800 with a level of 0. And the high is set at 3200 with a level of 10.
Roger, and I'm assuming 10 is the tops of your EQ capability?
Tops of your EQ capability?
It is.
Okay, and your mid-range is exactly correct. I always suggest keeping that mid-range EQ flat, because then it makes it much easier to strike a balance between the top and the bottom if the mids are flat. If you boost the mid-range, then it's very hard for the top and bottom to catch up with it. So you have that adjustment just absolutely perfect at a 0, plus or minus 0 on the mid-range. So I wish we had a little more top end there to give you a little bit more articulation. The thing I would suggest in lieu of that would be to roll off one click on the bottom end. Roll off one click on the bottom end. Roger?
Off one click on the bottom end. Roger?
Roger, I'll do that. All right, that's one click off on the bottom end.
Okay, and what mic is that you're using, sir?
What mic is that you're using, sir?
It is the stock MH31 hand mic, and it does have a switch on it, but I'm not sure what it does.
Well, why don't you, if you give me a 5 count, and about at 2, give me a 10 count, and at 5, switch that switch, and I'll tell you what it did.
Switch that switch, and I'll tell you what it did.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Roger. Well, I think Mother Nature kind of struck right there, and your level did drop. So I couldn't hear that much difference at the moment. So I'll go ahead and put the switch back where it was. Roger?
Put the switch back where it was. Roger?
Roger.
And Kevin, what's your location, please, sir?
Kevin, what's your location, please, sir?
I think we doubled there. What's your location, Kevin?
What's your location, Kevin?
I'm in Atlanta, Georgia.
Roger. Yeah, I think I checked the SDR in Georgia to see if I had a better copy. Tell me, how long have you been an amateur radio operator, sir? And what do you find the best thing about about amateur radio?
About amateur radio.
Well, I've been in the amateur less than a year. I just find it fascinating on how much you can talk on 100 watts.
Roger. Yeah, I do wish you had about 500. I would love to have a better copy on you and to be able to hear your audio. But I understand what you're saying there, sir. 100 watts is the backbone of this hobby. There are by far more people that run 100 watts and rely on Mother Nature and propagation to arrive at the points that they're looking for, it all depends on the gods of fate as far as where we talk, because even like on talking to somebody locally on HF, you get like 10 miles away, and you're just liable to need a relay from Poughkeepsie, New York, to find out what the other person's saying, Roger.
Oh, that's completely understand.
Well, Kevin, I think we got it pretty much nailed down at the moment. I would run it like that, and if you get a chance, drop back by next Friday, and we'll compare notes and see what you've been up to, Roger.
Roger. I appreciate it. You have a good weekend. KC9VKV, Kilo Oscar 4, Charlie Delta Bravo.
Roger, Kevin. 3's that way, sir. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. There was a KK something, I think. Is there a station out there with KK?
KK?
There was 2 or 3 out there. I didn't realize that we had 2 or 3 out there with KK and their call sign. But anyway, I'll try it again, KK. Yeah, KK, I can't copy you, so we'll try it later. And I have about 5 stations coming back, so I want to run around the SDRs and see if anybody salutes. This is KC9VKV listening.
Kilo November 4, November, India, Quebec. Kilo November 4, November, India, Quebec.
November, India, Quebec. Come back with the call sign slowly, phonetically, please.
Kilo November 4, November,
Roger. As you were speaking, you were fading out, so maybe you'll fade back in. We shall see. This is KC9VKV NIQ. What's your name there, please?
The name here is Jeff, Juliet, Echo, Foxtrot.
Copy, Jeff. And Jeff, whereabouts are you located, sir?
Outside of Charleston, South Carolina, in a little town called Goose Creek, over.
Roger. Well, I was trying to copy the mail on Rochester, New York SDR, but I moved over to Milford, and I have a much better copy on you. You look to be about 6 to 7 dB over their noise level. What radio are you running there, Jeff?
I'm running an Icon 7300, 100 watts on an infrared wire. It's about 30 feet up in the tree, over.
Roger that. Now we do have a setup for the 7300. I have probably tuned up about 175 7300s. It begins with you setting your compressor at about a 3. That is the magic number on the compressor, a 3. A 2 is not enough. 4 is starts to suck up pretty bad, so a 3 would be the ideal input level on your compressor, Roger.
compressor, Roger.
Roger, Roger. I just put it on the 3. How's this?
All right, sounds good. Now take a look at your ALC meter, and with mic gain in hand, and adjust your ALC meter to where it's running mid-scale to 2/3.
Where it's running mid-scale to 2/3.
Okay, I am looking at it now, and I guess I need to go down some because it's almost all the way to the top. So I am cutting it back, and I'm down to 50% now. That seems to be about it.
Okay, so you're running about 66% to 70%. In other words, a little bit past mid-scale as the peak, Roger.
Past mid-scale as the peak, Roger.
Yes, sir. Well, now it's peaking out again. I had set it 50%, but now I thought I had it, but it's topping out now.
Roger. Well, you know, the thing is, what you want to do when you set that level is just to be speaking like you normally would. You know, you don't want to say test, or whistle or any of that stuff. You just speak like you normally would and just adjust your mic gain until that ALC meter is running mid-scale to 2/3, Roger.
Is running mid-scale to 2/3, Roger.
Roger, I copy on that. It's still, I've dropped it down to 40. It still drops up high.
Okay, so you're at 40 on the mic level now?
You're at 40 on the mic level now?
Yes, sir. I just dropped it to 35.
All right, and what's the meter reading, your ALC meter reading at 35?
ALC meter reading at 35.
Right now it's between, it looks like -10.
Well, we want to be, you know, mid-scale to 2/3 on that ALC, Roger.
Scale to 2/3 on that ALC, Roger.
Okay, I think I misunderstood the scale here. I'm looking at the red line, but I'm assuming now that the red line is, I want to be towards the top of that, Roger.
Roger, well, you know, you can see where the ALC meter reading is. You know, it doesn't run all the way across the display. It runs, you know, you can see where it runs. That's the, and to the end of that would be 100%. So you want to be somewhere between mid-scale and 2/3 on that line.
And 2/3 on that line.
Okay, I copy that. And I need to turn it down a little bit more.
Yeah, Jeff, I don't know if you faded out or not, good buddy. Try to, you know, come back and let me see if I can hear you.
You know, come back and let me see if I can hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry, we doubled, and I've turned it down to 27%. How's this sound?
Well, tell me about your, the best thing you like about your radio.
The best thing you like about your radio.
Oh, that's easy. I love the scope. I have an 857. That was my first radio I bought when I got my license back a couple years ago. Saved up money, and I got the 7300, and I really love this scope. It helps me find, see what's all on the band.
Roger that. You might want to play a little game. We have a little game that, do you have a, you're just running 100 watts, Roger?
You're just running 100 watts, Roger?
Yes, sir, just 100 watts.
Okay, and looking at your output power meter, pretend like that's a VU meter. And what you want to do is, by the use of your voice, you want to keep that power meter hung out there in the sweet spot. Now, you know where that is. It's at the end of the power meter range, and that's where you want to keep that meter when you talk. And you can do that by utilizing two things: the rate of your speech and trying to say each word fairly uniform. So it, you know, you're actually riding gain on yourself, so to speak, Roger.
On yourself, so to speak, Roger.
Okay, where did you say I need to keep the power meter?
All right. What you want to do is try to keep that power meter at 100 watts by utilizing your voice to do that, Roger. So you're looking at that power meter that output power meter all the time you're talking, and you're trying to keep that meter up at 100 watts.
At 100 watts.
Okay, I copy. Trying to keep it at 100 watts. Kind of hard, but I'm trying. Okay,
Roger. And Jeff, we just Mother Nature just did a little number on the signal there. You did drop down, but maybe it's just a temporary thing. Come back and let me see if I still got a copy on you.
Come back and let me see if I still got a copy on you.
I'm still here.
Okay, Jeff. Well, anyway, that's something for you to play with. It takes a while to be able to, respond to that, what you need to do to keep that meter at the 100-watt reading. But with practice, you will find the right combination of the tempo of speech and the word formulation amplitude-wise that will let you keep that meter reading 100 watts. Takes years to perfect that, but it's something that you could play with, Roger.
You could play with, Roger.
Okay, I copy you on that. Yeah, I'll have to
Well, Jeff, kind of fading out there, buddy. I don't know if Mother Nature is going to be cooperative or not. Come back in one more time. Let me see where we are.
Come back in one more time. Let me see where we are.
All right, can you copy me now?
I copied you that time. I'm using a Milford PA, and you were about 5 dB over the noise level, so I had a nice copy on you right there. I would like to get a good recording so you can, be able to tell what's going on, and so that, hopefully we're in good conditions at the moment, Roger.
Good conditions at the moment, Roger.
Okay, I copy that. So I appreciate all the help you've given me, and so thanks for that, over.
Roger, sir. Well, threes to you, and we appreciate you checking in, and if you get a chance, join us next Friday afternoon between 3:30 and 5, and let us know what you've been up to, Roger.
Let us know what you've been up to, Roger.
Roger, I appreciate the help, and 73, my friend.
Roger, Jeff. Three's that way, sir. Have a great afternoon, a beautiful weekend. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. We're recording now live till 5, and we will be posting this recording up on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to our Qso-Vlog page. Right now we're running about 1,100 some odd recorded Qso-Vlogs, but you'll be looking for today's recording, which is entitled My Group Aircheck 5:15:20.
5:15:20.
That's My Group Aircheck 5:15:20. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you've got a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
If you've got a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Station said something about calling. Come back with your call sign again.
Said something about calling. Come back with your call sign again.
Kilo 4, Tango X-Ray Juliet.
Kilo 4 Tango X-Ray Juliet, Roger.
Kilo 4 Tango X-Ray Juliet, Roger.
That's a Roger, and I have a new headset with a microphone. I need to set the settings for it.
Yeah, you're pretty distorted, so I will say the first thing, what radio are you running, sir?
So I will say the first thing, what radio are you running, sir?
Let me turn the volume down, the gain. Hold on 1 second. Is that any better? Is it still garbled?
It's still garbled. You take that mic level down to about 40%. Take it down to about 40% and we'll work it from there.
40%. Take it down to about 40% and we'll work it from there.
Okay, is this any better?
It's getting there. Now, what radio are you running?
Hello, testing.
It's getting there. Now, what radio are you running?
I'm running a Yazoo FT857.
Slowly try it again.
Slowly try it again.
This is KK4TXJ. I'm running a Yazoo FT857, and my microphone gain is at 40 right now.
Okay, what I suggest that first you get that compressor in line at about a 3. We have a generic tune-up procedure. It starts with you bringing your compressor online at a 3. It's just a token amount, but it does exactly what it needs to do. So compressor at a 3.
Exactly what it needs to do. So compressor at a 3.
Okay, the compressor goes from 0 to 100 on this radio. I presume a 30% maybe?
Yes, sir, 30%. We just want a third of its capabilities.
Yes, sir, 30%. We just want a third of its capabilities.
Okay, processor is coming on.
Okay, I need about 10 seconds of you talking about maybe your antenna system so I can see if I can find a better path. Roger?
Maybe your antenna system so I can see if I can find a better path. Roger?
Okay, this is KK10. 20-foot pole with an homemade inverted V with a 40-meter wire and an 80-meter wire. Over.
All right, now go to your ALC meter with the mic gain in hand and adjust your ALC meter to where it's reading mid-scale to 2/3 by way of adjusting your mic gain. Roger?
2/3 by way of adjusting your mic gain. Roger?
Okay, let's see what happens. It's about, let me see, it just quit. Okay, there it goes. It's almost, let me see, about 3/4 of the way. KK4TXJ is going about 3/4 of the way up.
Alrighty. What's the name there, please?
Alrighty. What's the name there, please?
My name is George. I'm located in Georgia, close to Athens, Georgia.
Roger. Well, that's why you're doing so well on the Georgia SDR. We have one that actually works. Usually when you have an SDR in the same state the person is, you can't hear them. I don't know what that is all about. But anyway, so tell me the best thing you like about your radio.
Tell me the best thing you like about your radio.
It's fairly easy to use. It forgives high SWRs when I'm tuning it up. It doesn't choke on the high SWRs when I'm tuning it, but I do use a tuner for the other bands, and that's pretty much it. It works pretty well. I'm happy with it.
Roger. So right now you're running just the radio 100 watts. Is that a Roger?
So right now you're running just the radio 100 watts. Is that a Roger?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, it sounds like I'm hearing just a little bit of distortion, and I'm not sure why that would be. If you're, again, verify that your ALC level is running mid-scale to 2/3. Sometimes if you exceed the speed limit on your ALC, you will get that kind of peak distortion. But so come back and talk to me for a minute, and as you're talking, just adjust that ALC meter again for mid-scale to 2/3 by way of your mic gain control.
Again for mid-scale to 2/3 by way of your mic gain control.
Okay, it's maybe a little too high. We never did establish that I was not garbled with the gain that I had. I'm at 35% now on the gain, and it's gone down somewhat.
Roger, it looks like you're about 3 dB noise. Your dynamic range is about 3 dB at this point, so that's exactly where you want to be. 3 dB dynamic range averages out to 80 to 85% average peak modulation, so that would be perfect. Now, did you say you have a high standing wave on your antenna, and you're using your antenna tuner to bring that within reason?
And you're using your antenna tuner to bring that within reason?
On this band, it's not high, as I'm just tuning it to bring it down to 1-to-1. But on other bands, it is high, and I tune it down.
Do you have any idea where it is without the antenna tuner? Have you looked at it without the antenna tuner?
Without the antenna tuner? Have you looked at it without the antenna tuner?
I think it's about 1 to 1.5.
Oh, well, that's not bad at all. That's not a problem. So I was thinking if you had high SWR, it could be that would be causing your distortion. There's not a lot of it, but I can hear some, and you'll be able to hear it when you check out your audio, Roger.
Be able to hear it when you check out your audio, Roger.
Okay, the processor may be too high.
Well, you want it in line, but only at about a 30%, which would be a 30 out of 100 if it has that markings, Roger.
100 if it has that markings, Roger.
Roger. It's at the 31 only goes to 30 exactly. Okay, that's 30 now. Shouldn't make much difference, I wouldn't think.
Roger, just pop it out for a minute. Pop the compressor out and let me hear you without it. Give me about 10 seconds or something with the compressor out.
Give me about 10 seconds or something with the compressor out.
Okay, this is with no compressor, and the ALC is going up a little higher, I think it looks like anyway. So there you go.
Yeah, I could hear I could see your dynamic range get even smaller, so you were driving your ALC pretty hard there. So I would keep that compressor in line. I would back off another, what's your mic level at the moment?
Back off another, what's your mic level at the moment?
Microphone level is at 35%.
Roger, I would pull that to 30%, and then I would back off that mic about an additional inch or so.
Off that mic about an additional inch or so.
What was the first thing you said, 30%?
No, just about 5%. Take off about 5% of the gain where you are, and then in addition to that, back off your mic about another inch.
Back off your mic about another inch.
Okay, I did have the mic pretty close to my mouth. This is now 30%. This is 5% less than it was.
Roger, I think it's sounding better. Again, I did not have a real sterling copy on you at that particular point, but I think that's going to be better. Now, which mic was that again?
I think that's going to be better. Now, which mic was that again?
I bought a new headset with the mic on it.
Okay, Mother Nature got you that time. Try it again. What kind of mic is that?
Mother Nature got you that time. Try it again. What kind of mic is that?
I bought it from a ham radio guy, W2 something, I forget. He makes these earphones, headsets with a boom microphone, and he sells an adapter cable for your radio with it.
Okay, are you running any kind of outboard audio equipment, or just the microphone going directly into the radio?
Equipment, or just the microphone going directly into the radio?
Nothing outboard, no, nothing.
All right, so it does sound like something's being pushed. What, again, is your mic level specifically at the moment?
Again, is your mic level specifically at the moment?
It's at 30%, 30.
Roger. Well, I think it's better than what it was. You can be the judge when you check out your audio, Roger.
You can be the judge when you check out your audio, Roger.
Okay, you want me to try the processor again?
Okay, is the processor in or out?
Okay, is the processor in or out?
It's out right now.
Okay, seems to be stabilizing a little bit with it in. So I would put that compressor in and just leave it at a 30. Just leave it in at a 30, which we should be about a third of its capabilities, Roger.
30, which we should be about a third of its capabilities, Roger.
Okay, it's at 30. The processor is on now, and it's at 30%, and the mic gain is 30%.
Roger, Roger. And yeah, you're looking at your ALC meter, and tell me what it's reading.
You're looking at your ALC meter, and tell me what it's reading.
Okay, right now it's a little lower than it was without the processor on it. It's not going up nearly as high as it was.
Okay, so in that particular radio, I'm going to suggest that you run that radio at mid-scale. Try to keep that, because it does sound like peak audio distortion. So I would keep that ALC meter running just at mid-scale, Roger.
ALC meter running just at mid-scale, Roger.
Okay, let me see. It's not quite there yet. Not quite there right now. Well, if I speak up a little bit, it is, yeah.
Okay, so now you're just running mid-scale on the radio, on the ALC meter?
Okay, so now you're just running mid-scale on the radio, on the ALC meter?
Fairly, yeah.
Yeah, it does sound like you do have a little bit of distortion, but I'm not sure exactly where it's coming from. But anyway, if you listen to your audio, I think you could hear it. Maybe we could, try it next Friday. You might be able to play around with it a little bit, and listen to your audio. See if you can find out where that distortion's coming from. It, it sounds almost like input mic overload. It just sounds like that. There's a distortion on the peaks, and I'm sure that you were down there 30, 35 or something on mic level, so I wouldn't, think that that mic would be overdriving anything. If you were down around 10% or 5% mic level, then I would say that mic is just extremely hot going into it. But you're up there around 30% or so. So I think that mic is just doing average situation, Roger.
That mic is just doing average situation, Roger.
Okay, I'll see if I can get somebody to record me and play me back.
Roger, Roger. Well, let me say, 3ST, I think we've probably about done as best we can. I think running at that less audio mic level is helping, and also with that compressor in, I think that's helping keep things under control as far as minimizing the peaks and the distortion associated with the peaks. So 3ST is, sir, and George, and if you get a chance, we will be posting this within the next couple of days. So if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to our Qso-Vlog page. You'll be looking for an entity called My Group Aircheck 5/15/20. Today's date. My Group Aircheck 5/15/20. Roger.
5/15/20. Roger.
Roger, I didn't catch the words in front of that. Say that slowly again.
It's My Group Aircheck. My Group Aircheck. A recording. Roger.
A recording. Roger.
My Group Aircheck.
Roger. That Aircheck is a euphemism for a recording made off the air. Roger.
Made off the air. Roger.
Okay, I got it. Thank you very much for your help.
Roger, Roger, George. That sounded pretty good right there. Thanks to you, sir. Have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor, the Qso-Vlog net. If you've got a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Give me a shout.
No, this is number 8, Romeo India Mike, Quebec Tango.
There's a station out there, Romeo India Mike. Romeo India Mike. Come back again with the call sign slowly phonetically.
Okay, KC9VKV, this is Whiskey Bravo number 8, Romeo India Mike. The handle is Lee, Lima Echo Echo Lee, and I'm on a Kenwood TS590S, not the new one, but the old crappy S model, over.
Well, now, you're going to tick that radio off, and it's going to shut down and never to be heard from again. Just be nice to that radio, Roger.
Oh, yeah, it's a good radio. It works fine. MC60 mic on it with the mic gain about 45%, no processing, over.
Roger, and you consult your ALC for mid-scale to two-thirds operation?
Yeah, it's, well, let me tone it down a little bit here. Testing, okay, about a 40 mic gain, over.
Roger. EQ sounds good. And whereabouts are you, sir?
I'm in Bloomingdale, Ohio, about 20 miles west of Steubenville, Ohio, over.
Roger that. And tell me a little bit about your antenna system, and I'm going to look around and see if I can find a better path.
Okay, I have extended ZEP, which on the 40-meter off-center fed dipole, and I also have a end-fed halfway from my antenna. That's pretty much everything covered, over.
Roger Lee, getting just a little bit of adjacent channel QRM, but I think your EQ is fine. Now that doesn't have a selectable bandpass. Roger, what bandpass is that radio?
For the transmitter, I have it at 3,100. That's the max.
Roger, and that same setting brings your receiver along with it? Okay, I usually suggest that 100 to 2900 receive and transmit is usually ideal, because like on the 7300 they have more compromised band passes, but I think 100 to 2900, or in your case, 3, sometimes, you hang out on the edges, and some folks might get perturbed about that. So I suggest 2900, Roger.
Okay, stand by for a second. I'll crank it down. You can tell me if it makes any difference.
All righty. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net.
KC8, COI. Kilowatt, Charlie 5, Kilo Delta 8 Alpha, Quebec Tango.
Station standby. We're still working with Lee, RIM, right at the moment, but we will be free shortly, so stand by, please.
Okay, there's 2900, over.
All right, just tell me about your antenna system. Let me hear you for just a second.
Okay, right now I'm on the off-center fed dipole up about 25 feet. I also have a non-intense in-fed half wave up, and I have a 40-meter double extended ZEP with a LDE RT100 antenna tuner on the end of it. So I can cover about all the bands, over.
Roger that. Now, I would suggest you have EQ, Roger.
Right now, yes, I have the high boost, low boost, high boost 1 and 2. I've got it on high boost 2, over.
And where were you before?
I never changed the high boost. That's in the menu. It's just high boost. Let me find it here. This is high boost 2, and I'll change it to high boost 1. There's high boost 1. Does that make any difference, over?
I think since you're going to run 2900, I think I would go to high boost 2 to get a little bit more articulation on your audio, Roger.
Okay, I'm on high boost 2 now. In order to change the user settings in it, I have to hook up the laptop, and then I could tailor the audio for the transmit, because I don't have my laptop upstairs. Over.
Roger, you're fluctuating down. Sometimes you're like -2. I'm copying you on the Milford PA SDR, and sometimes you do drop down a little bit. So I'm not getting quite the signal that I would like to be able to hear your audio, Roger.
Okay, do you think I need any kind of processing, over?
Yeah, if you have it, I would put that compressor in line at a 3. That's our normal suggestion. It's a uniform setting that's not going to shake the world, but it does exactly what it needs to do. A 2 is too light, and a 4, you start to hear it sucking up. So a 3 is just about ideal, Roger.
Okay, this has 2 processor settings. It has a processor in and processor out. Right now my ALC is like on the bottom. Let me crank my mic gain up just a smidge. And does it sound okay right here? I got the processor in at 30 and the processor out at 40, over.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good. It looks like about a 3 dB dynamic range, which is where you want to be, Roger.
Okay, sounds good there. I'll just nail it down right there, over.
Roger, get the duct tape. The Gorilla Tape.
Okay, I'll keep it set right here. The rig's not a bad rig. I like it. I got to play around with the receive audio. I have to hook the laptop up and do the user menu. It's kind of rough. I can't get quite the sound I want out of it on the receive. It's got kind of a harshness to the edge of the audio, over.
Roger, well, the thing you want to do is get that audio out of the box and into a monitor system. You know, the radio doesn't have enough cubes to accurately reflect the real audio. So if you were, my standard suggestion is go down to Wally World, and they have a Logitech 2.1 speaker system. It is like $35. But it does have a subwoofer in it, which allows you to get down to into those lower frequencies, like 50, 60 cycles. And if you just, if you get that speaker system, come home, run a little nice FM music through it. It has a balance control that you just bring that subwoofer into balance with the music. So then you have that calibrated, and then just plug it into your audio out on your radio, and you will be in seventh heaven.
Okay, the speaker I'm using right now, the external speaker, is a Kenwood SP230. I also have a TS830S, and I have all the outboard equipment that goes with it. I got the SM220 monitor scope on it, and I got the SM230 and the AT230 antenna tuner set here for the old stuff, but I'm using the SP230 speaker. And I'm driving that through a gap here at inline ESP module. Gives me a little bit of amplification, adds a little bit of bass to it, but it doesn't take out the harshness. I wrote all that down, I'll look into it. So with that, I'll say 73s and let somebody else have a chance. I'm going to nail her down here and just monitor the frequency. Over.
Roger that, Lee. That amp at Wally World is just beautiful. That subwoofer does take it down to 60 cycle capability. There's probably no other amp in the world for $35 that you're going to find as amazing as that, but that's what I would suggest. And just calibrate it with some nice music and then plug it in, and you will be amazed. Like the ICOM 7300 is just an exceptional radio, and I had the privilege of running one of those in a test mode for about 3 months, and in the filter 1 position, which is no filtering at all, it easily went down to 100 cycles in receive mode, and just outstanding with a nice monitor system. Roger.
Monitor system, Roger.
Oh, Roger, I have one of them also. You helped me set that one up about a couple months ago. This is the Kenwood turn in the barrel today, and probably I'll have the Eagle set up next week. Over.
Roger that. Well, that 7300 was really nice. You obviously could not use the noise blank because of the distortion, and you did not want to use the noise reduction because it put in some echo. I don't know exactly what that was about. So I ran that radio in filter 1, no noise reduction and no noise blank, and it really was a nice sound, Roger.
A nice sound, Roger.
Roger. I do miss the band scope. I fell in love with the band scope on it. It's kind of hard to use a radio that doesn't have it. So with that, I'll say 73s, and I'll let you get somebody else before they get mad at me. The KC9VKV, this is WB8RIF.
Roger, Lee, 3's at Wiz, sir. Have a great afternoon and a beautiful weekend. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Give me a shout. Charlie 5, Papa X-ray Whiskey. Mike Delta Zulu. QFP.
There's about 5 stations out there. They're all similar levels. Let me, the loudest one, try it again.
Try it again. Whiskey 4, Mike Delta Zulu.
Whiskey 4, Mike Delta Zulu. This is KC9VKV.
Mike Delta Zulu. This is KC9VKV.
So, Whiskey 4, Mike Delta Zulu, come back slowly with your call sign one more time, please.
Mike Delta Zulu, come back slowly with your call sign one more time, please. I think you have it right. You're down in the noise. It is Whiskey 4, Mike Delta Zulu. Over.
Roger. Well, we use that little idea when we edit out some of the sections from the main recording, and so it's kind of nice to have the call sign up front like that. Thank you so much. What's the name there, sir?
Nice to have the call sign up front like that. Thank you so much. What's the name there, sir? Well, the name is Mike. I'm in Central North Carolina, and I've been listening, and I really like how you're helping people work through audio issues with their radios. And because I had some people here locally help me through one. I have a brand new ICOM 7300 that was working gangbusters, and then all of a sudden I had RFI all over the audio circuit. As it turns out, it was a bad jumper, or a jumper that went bad. Over.
Oh, Roger. I recommend that somebody use a field strength meter in their shack and have it set for nominal situation at mid-scale, and then when you have certain conditions that go south and turn out to radiate a hotter RF level in the shack, this little field strength meter will tell you that that's going on, Roger.
This little field strength meter will tell you that
what's going on, Roger?
Yeah, Roger. Great tip. Thank you very much. I could tell you this, that for my voice, my acoustics, my Heil ICM microphone, I find on the 7300 that a mic compression of 25% and compression of 2 or 20% works best for me, although currently I'm experimenting and I'm bumping it up to 30%. Over.
Yes, sir. 30 is the ideal. 3, that 7300 on a compressor level 3 is absolutely perfect, and it's 2 doesn't do quite as enough as what it needs to do, and a 4 you can start to hear it work, and I hate to hear things work. I want a very transparent setting, so I found that a 3 is just ideal. So you bring that compressor in at about a 3, and then go to your ALC with the mic gain in hand and adjust the ALC meter for mid-scale to 2/3. And you do those 2 things, you'll be running a dynamic range of 3 dB with an average percent of peak modulation around 80 to 85%, which is a very fat signal.
Modulation around 80 to 85%, which is a very fat signal.
Very good, James. I will give that a try. We'll be changing the setting shortly, but thank you for taking my call. I know there's a lot of guys that want to come in here, so I will make room for them, and thank you once again. Wish you 73. This is Whiskey 4 Mike Delta Zulu.
Roger. And Mike, just out of curiosity, is that the stock 7300 hand mic?
Is that the stock 7300 hand mic?
Oh no, it's the Heil ICM. Heil ICM.
Roger. Well, it must be a condenser because it does, have very articulated audio, Roger.
Because it does, have very articulated audio, Roger.
Could you say again, problem with the audio on this mic? Go ahead.
No audio, no problem. Just that the frequency response characteristics are very similar to the stock hand mic, in that stock hand mic is an electret mic that has very nice audio. For a stock hand mic, that's a jewel of a mic. And usually, folks, the first thing they want to do is take that hand mic off and put a desk mic on, and most of the time it's just a regular dynamic desk mic, and so they're going to be playing catch up on the EQ to come back with the articulation that hand mic had, just in a stock situation. But I'm assuming that you're using a condenser hand mic. I'm sorry, a desk mic, Roger.
Hand mic, a desk mic, Roger.
Roger, the Heil ICM, and I already had it, so I thought I would switch it since I like to use a boom. And I did realize that the hand mic, stock hand mic, was excellent. But Bob Heil actually, I think, collaborated on the mic interface and circuitry with some of the mics, so Bob Heil had some input also. Anyway, 73s, I appreciate it. Whiskey 4 Mike Delta Zulu.
Roger, sounds excellent. Get the Gorilla Tape and taper down. 3's to you, sir. Thanks for checking in. If you get a chance to drop by next Friday, we run 3:30 till 5, record all the way. And if you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to our Qso-Vlog page. And on that page, we're running about 1,100 some odd recorded Qsos, but you'll be looking for one in particular, and it's called My Group Aircheck 5/15/20. Today's date. My Group Aircheck 5/15/20. Roger.
Date. My Group Aircheck 5/15/20. Roger.
Roger. Thanks very much. I'll be looking for it. Thank you once again. W4MD3.
Roger, Roger, and give us 48 hours to get it up. A lot of times we get it there sooner, but it's nice to be able to, have some leeway in case we get busy and, have to turn up being late getting it there. So we usually say we'll have it there within 48 hours. Thanks to you, Mike, and we'll catch you later. And gosh, we got about 5 minutes till 5. We turn into a pumpkin at 5 o'clock. So whoever wants an air check, they better get on it. This is KC9VKV listening.
Aircheck, they better get on it. This is KC9VKV listening.
Papa X-ray whiskey, QRT.
Somebody, Papa X-ray whiskey. Let me get my pen here. Papa X-ray whiskey. Come back with your call sign again, slowly, phonetically, please.
Again, slowly, phonetically, please.
Whiskey, kilowatt, Charlie 5, Papa X-ray whiskey, Kilo Charlie 5, Papa X-ray whiskey.
Kilo Charlie 5, Papa X-ray whiskey. Roger.
X-ray whiskey, Roger.
Roger, Roger.
Romeo Echo Zulu.
From North Carolina, QSL.
Roger, Roger. Well, I don't know about 5 watts from North Carolina. You're kind of getting hammered by some other stations, somebody tuning up, and 2 or 3 other stations calling. But what is the name there in North Carolina?
What is the name there in North Carolina?
The name is Tony, Tango Oscar November Yankee, Tango Oscar November Yankee. And I put out 5 watts right now out of a Sierra Golf Charlie. QSL.
Roger, Tony. Well, I'm copying you on the Georgia SDR, so you're doing a good job there from North Carolina down in towards Georgia. Roger.
A good job there from North Carolina down in towards Georgia. Roger.
Roger, Roger. Appreciate the contact. It's I've got a G5RV antenna kind of pointed northeast towards New York City, around the globe that way. I've worked several stations in the UK and such with 5 watts, but have never had an actual recording signal report to USL.
Roger, Tony. Well, if you go to YouTube and do a call in a search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to our Qso-Vlog page. And on that page, you'll be looking for an entity called My Group Aircheck 5/15/20, today's date. My Group Aircheck 5/15/20, Roger.
20, today's date. My Group Aircheck 5/15/20, Roger.
Roger, 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 Roger. Thanks for the QSO.
Roger, Roger, 23's that way. Well, we've got, 2 minutes left. If somebody wants Aircheck, come ahead. This is KC9VKV listening.
Aircheck, come ahead. This is KC9VKV listening.
November.
Something Alpha November?
Something Alpha November.
Is there an Alpha November out there? Paging an Alpha November. This is KC9VKV.
This is KC9VKV.
Well, not hearing any Alpha November. This is KC9VKV listening.
The Alpha November. This is KC9VKV listening.
Romeo Echo Zulu.
There's a Romeo Echo station. Romeo Echo station. You come back with the call sign slowly, please.
Come back with the call sign slowly, please.
Kilo Juliet 4, Romeo Echo Zulu.
Romeo Echo Zulu, Roger, Roger. And what's the name there?
Roger, Roger. And what's the name there?
South Carolina, and I just came across your net. I know you're about to close it out, so I thought I'd try to check in really quick.
All right, got you from South Carolina. What's the name?
Got you from South Carolina. What's the name?
Floyd, as in Pink Floyd.
Roger, Floyd. And what radio are you running, sir?
Roger, Floyd. And what radio are you running, sir?
I'm running a new Icon 7300. I picked up, I think I got it on Wednesday with the SM20 microphone.
running about 100 watts. The dipole about 12 feet off the ground.
Roger, Roger. We have a setup for that 7300. It starts with the compressor engaged at about a 3. The compressor engaged at about a 3. Roger.
Engaged at about a 3. Roger.
Yeah, I did all the normal stuff. I ended up having to turn the compression off because everybody just said it sounded better without it, because it is an amplified microphone, and I guess with my voice characteristic. But as of late, everybody says it sounds okay.
Well, you do have about a 3 dB dynamic range, but normally, we do suggest the compressor at a 3 and then turn down your input level. Ultimately, we get to the ALC meter with the compressor in line at a 3. We go to the ALC meter, and then you turn down your mic gain until the ALC meter is running mid-scale to 2/3. That's the normal setup.
QSL. That's about where I'm at right now, about 2/3 on the ALC, but the compression is off. People like it better with the compression off. But
Sir, the frequency's in use.
You got 1 minute left. I'll let you try to pick somebody up again. Thank you so much, and I'll say 73. KJ4REZ.
Roger, Roger. Audio sounds good, sir. And like I say, you were about a 3 dB dynamic range in spite of not running the compressor. So that's exactly where you want to be. So there you are. Get the Gorilla Tape and taper down. 3's to you. What's the Floyd? That's the name, Roger?
QSL, Floyd.
Roger, Roger. And you're in South Carolina?
Yes, sir. Taylor, South Carolina, almost in North Carolina, not too far from the state line there.
Roger. Well, gosh, you're giving Milford, PA about a 10 over. So you're really sounding good on the Milford PA SDR. 3C, Floyd. We'll catch you later. And you have a great weekend. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. We are past 5, so let me wrap this up. We've really enjoyed it. Hope you have. And for all that participated, if you go to YouTube in the next couple of days and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to our Qso-Vlog page. We're running now about just a little over 1,100 recorded Qso-Vlogs. You'll be looking for one in specific called My Group Aircheck 51520. My Group Aircheck 51520. So with that, we will return the frequency back to normal amateur use. And we'll say 3s, and this is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor. It will be clear.